All right, everybody scanned in? Good, all right, I'm gonna take the clicker and click this off now. No? How does this clicker work?
Is that mine?
I think so. This one?
It's not plugged in because
Oh, okay.
plug the port in on the side.
I'm cool. Nice to meet you.
Well, now we got a problem though. I
You
can't.
don't have, there's no USB on this one?
Nope, there is, but hold on. Yeah, hold on. There's an extra one.
Presentations on the screen behind it.
I don't know if I got an extra USB port on this one.
Yeah, it's right here. There you go. There you go.
Okay. Continue.
Yeah, minimize this screen.
Okay, so can I just kill this?
Yep. And there you go.
All
There you
right.
go. You just put it on the slideshow. You're good.
All right, I'm gonna leave this over here. So. All right. All right, so while David's passing this out, I'm going to give a mercifully brief introduction of myself, and then let David kind of talk about what he does as well. So, me and David, we've been doing these events for a while now, and it's just about how to maximize your listings, like how to get listings. Like, has anybody heard the saying "list to last"?
Yes.
Anybody think that that's not a good idea at all? Okay, good. So we're all on the same page. We're all in the right room. So, first and foremost, right now, and I'm not going to say any of this to brag, but I'm going to tell you why I'm up here being able to do this. So right now, I'm holding 11 listings that are all for sale that I all got, in the first quarter. So my first quarter involved 11 listings. we got 6 sold, 2 under contract. That's what the first quarter looks like for my team. So, or for me and some of the agents on my team as well. So, with that, and I'm going to add this in too because this is the first time I'm going to get to say this ever. But as of this morning, I'm also an author on how to sell real estate on the listing and buying side. So. With all this, I was a coach at NAEA, I was a coach at Hero Nation, and I'm still certified to coach for both of these companies and still do. So I help a lot of agents on a daily basis as well as being the team lead of my own team. So it's still boots on the ground, still helping a lot of agents out, and still doing a lot of events like this. So extremely happy to be here and go over all this. And some of the things that we're going to show you, you're going to be like, oh, that's, I haven't seen that before. And that's good. I hope you guys are able to walk away with some stuff that you haven't seen before and, and that you can take with you and implement into your own business. So I'm going to and this is my partner, David. If, I'm going to let him introduce himself as well and we'll kind of take away and show what we do from there.
Yeah, so I got into the business about 7 years ago. As soon as I got in, I had no sphere. I was 23. None of my friends were buying, right? Nobody was old enough to purchase. They were either getting their jobs or still in school. So I joined a team, and they taught me how to cold call and go after listings, right? And so I naturally found myself going after listings and just became successful from there. Won Real Producers Hardest Working Realtor 2021. Last year did 42 deals, 14.5 million in volume. So, our goal is to help pour back into agents, especially with this new NAR settlement, right? Because becoming a listing agent is actually going to be very, very important and valuable after July, right? So we'll role play on that as well. And, you know, we're gonna teach you, how to win before you start, then Chad's gonna teach the actual presentation, which he actually does a really, really good job at. Okay? Who's a listing agent right now? No? Okay, cool. So hopefully you guys will pick up some new things, right? Ready?
Yeah. You gonna start? You want to start
Yep.
with this? Go.
All right, you know, Chad was a coach with NEEA, that's the National Association of Expert Advisors. I went through the training myself, and they teach you and position you as an expert advisor in your marketplace, right? So you become this authority figure, right? Because let's be honest, we don't really get the respect that we should as agents, right? I think, in fact, we are just right above car salesmen on the most trusted professionals, right? That's actually a true statistic. So I'm going to teach you guys how to actually demonstrate a value proposition and win before you start, all right? And then Chad's going to teach you how to crush the listing presentation, all right? So this is the seller counseling interview, right? So let's say, you know, you're going after a cold business. Where do the majority of your listings come from? Here?
Sphere,
Sure. So you go on appointments, they're probably ready to sign, right? So more than likely, like, you know, you don't have to sell them, right? So me and Chad teach how to go after cold business, right? We actually host cold calling classes as well. All right, so that's just another class that we can do as well. But, you know, this is actually going after cold business. Maybe you're up against other agents. We're gonna teach you how to win before you can start, okay? So this is called the seller counseling interview. And I may need to volunteer here shortly, but this is a list of questions I usually ask maybe, let's say today's Thursday, Wednesday? I got my days confused. Thursday. Let's say you have an appointment on Sunday or Monday, right? I usually call a couple days before in advance and ask them these series of questions. You know, we make a lot of outbound calls, expired, forced out owners. They're getting blown up already, right? So you got to stand out somehow, somewhere. Okay. So this is to help arm you with as much resource and ammunition as possible to not only know who your competition is, but to see what they're doing and figure out more motivation and really just build rapport. You know, people use who they know, like, and trust. So the more rapport you build, the more time you spent with somebody, the more they trust you. The more they trust you, the more better chances you have of working. All right? Who wants to be my volunteer? Anybody? Chris, you were my volunteer last time, bro. Adrian, you're my volunteer, all right? All right, so let's say you're expired, right? And I call you, all right? So at the top right, you're gonna see disc profile. So I always find out what their job is, right? I don't ask them to take a disc profile because that's like a 20-minute assessment. I'm gonna ask Adrian, what do you do for a living?
Yeah, I'm a stonemason.
A stonemason.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you work with your hands and stuff like that? Okay, God, do you enjoy what you do?
I do.
You do? How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it about 5 years.
5 years, okay, gotcha. Do you see yourself like making a career and doing it long term?
Potentially.
Okay, gotcha, all right. The reason why I ask what their job is, guys, is because I want to see what they do, if they love it. And that's going to tell me how to exactly talk to them. Stonemason, what are they? They're probably like a high on the SC, right? They probably like to talk. You know, if he was in like engineering, right? He's probably high in the I, right? So if he's in sales, he may be more direct, right? So this actually helps me develop and see exactly how to talk to him. So he's a stonemason, right? So I'm gonna call you, Adrian. We ring.
Hello?
Adrian, how's it going? It's David with EXP. Listen, I'm excited to see you on Monday at 12 o'clock. Before I come out there, I just got a few lists of questions that I'd like to ask you. You got about 10 seconds?
Yeah, sure.
Gotcha. I always say 10 seconds. It takes more like 10 minutes, but like, I like to frame it like, hey, you know, this is gonna be quick. Adrian, remind me, where are you moving to?
I am going to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma?
Yes, sir.
You leaving Texas to go to Oklahoma, man?
Yes.
Are you sure you want to move?
I'm.
Oklahoma. Okay, good deal. And you're moving there because
Family.
you got family there. Which part of Oklahoma?
I'm going to Tulsa.
Tulsa.
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. I've never been. Heard good things. Now listen, man. I know you're on the market, but how soon would you like to be there?
I'd like to be there within the next 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. 3 months, good deal. Shouldn't be a problem. Adrian, let me ask you something. If I come out there and my team and we can help you get to Oklahoma in the next 30 days, would that pose a problem for you?
Not at all.
No? Excellent. Adrian, let me ask you something. Nothing is ever guaranteed in life. What would happen if the property did not sell?
I would probably be pushed behind schedule.
Push behind schedule? So you still want to move there, right?
Yes.
Okay, good deal. That's a great question to ask guys, because if they said, well, I'll just wait another year, then you'll know their motivation. If they say, if it doesn't sell, like, no, I need it to sell, right, then you'll figure out their motivation, alright? When we come out there, Adrian, realistically, and I always say realistically, right, we're talking about laying it patterns. How much would you like to list your property for?
Realistically,
Realistically,
I was thinking somewhere around 375.
375? Okay, great, sounds good. You know, and approximately, how much do you own the property again, remind me?
Can you repeat that?
How much do you own the property approximately? Can you remind me?
240.
240, okay. Would you mind having a recent mortgage statement for me when I get there?
Sure, why not?
If they have the mortgage statement with you, then you know they're very, very motivated. So I always ask for that. Let's see, how soon can we start bringing buyers in your property, Adrian?
I think the house will be ready for showings in about 2 weeks.
2 weeks? Okay, gotcha. What in the next 2 weeks are you doing, that we need to wait 2 weeks?
Seeing other realtors.
You're interviewing other agents?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
man, that's awesome. We're never afraid of competition. I actually encourage you to do it. Okay, so quickly describe the home for me. I know we talked a little bit about it. Like, have you done any updates? Like, tell me about it real quickly.
Yeah, we did a renovation in the kitchen.
Okay.
We added some granite. We added some, what is it called? Granite,
Stone, quartz?
no,
Countertops.
countertops. There you go. We added granite countertops. We redid the restroom, added some Pennsylvania stone tiles on there, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay, just the countertops, nothing else?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no worries, man. I'm excited to see it. Now, where would you rate your property on a scale of 1 to 10? Listen, I know you're biased at your property. You may say 10, but realistically, where would you rate your property, Adrian?
I would give it a 7 out of 10.
A 7? What would make it a 10, if you don't mind me asking?
Better maintenance of the yard.
Better maintenance, okay, just maintenance, like landscaping, things like that? Okay, gotcha. You're doing a good job, man, by the way. I know you're coming up with these questions on the spot, too. Okay, good deal. Any positive, anything negative that maybe a buyer might come in and just kind of balk at that you can think of, other than the landscaping?
Yeah, I think the roof looks pretty old.
The roof?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how old it is?
15 years.
15 years? Okay. You haven't explored getting it replaced
No.
with the insurance company? No?
I mean,
That works. Anything else?
no, that's about it.
Now, you said that you mentioned that you're interviewing other agents.
Yes, I am.
Is that right? Okay. I always ask if they're interviewing other agents, because I want to be prepared. I want to know who's my competition. I always ask who the other agent is. Adrian, who are you interviewing, if you don't mind me asking?
Chad Montgomery.
Chad Montgomery.
Yes.
Man, that's awesome. He's a great agent from what I hear. I happen
Just
to-
quit on that one.
I happen to teach him everything I knew. Okay, great. Anybody else?
No, sir.
You're not interviewing like Camilla Grace or anything?
We were considering it, but after reviewing her resume, we're not interested.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't blame you. Oh, great. When is your other interview set up, Adrian?
It's set up for tomorrow at 4.
Tomorrow, 4. Okay, gotcha. Good. I like to go, you like to go first or last?
Last.
You like to go last? I like to go last too. I like to go last because I think you can, they're not holding out to see what other agents will talk about. And I think they'll probably remember you better, right? So I like to go last, which is good. You got it set up for tomorrow. I'm coming in there Monday, which works out great. All right, perfect. So Monday. Now, Adrian, you know, when I come out there, is there any other decision makers that need to be on board? Significant other, wife, boyfriend?
My.
Hey, it's 2024, man. I don't know. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, my wife needs to be there. She's not in town though.
Oh, she's not in town?
She's not in town.
Okay.
She's in Oklahoma.
Okay, is she able to meet us at Monday? I just want to make sure that, you know, all parties are on the same page and in this discussion. It's a
Sure.
big decision.
Sure. Yeah.
She's
she'll
able to
be
meet
here
us?
Monday. She'll be here.
Okay, great. Sounds good. I just want to make sure. All right, sounds good. Now let me ask something, Adrian. If everything makes sense, you like me and I like you, is there any reason why we wouldn't be able to work together and help you sell your property and working with my team? Anything at all?
You know what, David? You stand out from all the agents. You're not pressuring me. I don't see a problem at all.
You don't see a problem at all? Okay, excellent, sounds good. Now, I'm asking you the same question and you tell me no. All right? Adrian, if I come out there, you like me, I like you, you feel comfortable and confident with what my team has to offer, is there any reason why we wouldn't be able to work together?
No.
No? Okay, no worries. I get it, man. It's a big decision. You probably have a lot of things going on. Just have to think about it, right? You have to think about it? Yeah, gotcha, I understand. What specifically would you need to think about or maybe see, Adrian, to, at least consider my team to be the top option on, for the agency, for the agents that you hire?
I just wanna see all of my options.
You want to see all the options? Hey, man, I completely understand. I encourage you, because you already were on the market once, man, you don't want to make the wrong decision, right? Tell me what happened, like, why didn't it sell? Why do you feel like the home didn't sell last time?
I feel like my agent wasn't as involved as he should have been.
Wasn't as involved?
Yes.
Now, when you say it wasn't as involved, like, how would you like your agent to be involved?
I would like my agent to be very communicative.
Communicate?
Yes.
You want to be communicated with?
Yes, I want to reach out to my agent and have him answer me as soon as he can. My last agent just was lacking on communication.
Took their time getting back with you?
Exactly.
Gotcha. So maybe you felt like your home wasn't a priority to him selling it?
Exactly.
Gotcha. Understand. I get you. Okay, perfect. Okay, gotcha. So communication is important to you. What else is important to you, if you don't mind me asking?
Honesty.
What was that?
Honesty and straightforwardness. I don't want.
Somebody who's
I don't-
transparent?
Exactly.
Okay, somebody's not gonna bullshit you?
Exactly.
Good deal, okay. I even sometimes cuss on the phone too. It breaks their pattern. And it comes off as that you're a real human being, like, hey, I'm human too, you know? Okay, great. Adrian, I'm excited for Monday at 12 o'clock. You got my list, my seller's guide, right, that I mailed to you?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good deal. Have that out. I want to go over some things in there with you as well. One of three things may happen on this appointment, Adrian, before I let you go. Number one is, you may not see the value in work. This isn't on the sheet. This is just me talking. One of three things may happen, Adrian. Number one is, like, I may come out there and you may not see the value in working with me. And if that's the case, I completely understand. I appreciate that. We'll shake hands. We'll be friends. And then I wish you well. Number two is, I may come out there and I may determine if I may not want to work with you. And if that's the case, I'll let you know as soon as I can, so I don't have to waste your valuable time. And we'll shake hands and I wish you well. Or number three, and I hope this is the case, is that we see the value in working together and we can get your property sold and get you out to Oklahoma. Fair enough?
Sounds fair.
Good deal, man. I'll see you at 12 o'clock on Monday.
Thank you, David.
All right.
Can you guys see how this is actually very, very valuable, especially after you're going after cold business? You know? How many times Chad went on an appointment and he was up against 12 agents. What number were you?
I was the 12th. So they told me right off the bat, we're going to interview 20 no matter what. So it's not, we messed up last time. Agent could not sell the house. Just don't expect anything, but yes, come talk to us. Okay.
Did you have any reluctancy, like, damn, 12, 20 agents, like, should I even go?
Nope.
Why is that?
I don't, because if I'm one out of 20 agents, it's like,
you're the shit, right?
yeah, pretty, I mean, to sum it up, because I'm the shit. I mean, yes, I'm not going to lie. Out of 20 agents, I'm going to be the best out of about 50. So 1 out of 20 is not bad.
What questions do you have?
Yes, and I walked away with the listing that day right there, and then no one interviewed anybody else. So.
Did you get it sold?
What would you tell them? What would you respond if they say, well, every agent says the same thing, that they're the best and they can sell the property?
Well, Ivan, let me ask you something. Like, I'll be honest with you, Ivan. We all sound the same. But at the end of the day, like, every agent has the same tools in their tool belt. It's about how we use them. You're getting told this. Let me come out there and show you. And then I'll just shut up. And that's it.
Make sense?
Make sense? Yep. So you don't have to tackle the objection right there. Oh, well, like, we do the marketing plan and you don't fluff it up, right? Sometimes objections need to be just jumped over instead of, like, trying to be tackled head on. So jump over the objections. Yep.
And most objections are really just questions.
Yep.
And that's the main thing to remember. It's just, they're asking you a question, just answer it and then stop. Like most people will carry on a conversation. They get asked a question and they tell the whole story and they're like, well, I don't know, I was just asking, like, I don't care that much. Like, yeah, so yeah, you're right, man. So
I
that's,
actually had a seller contact me, like, after we went through this and we sold this home, and say, man, David, you were very professional. Like, the list of questions was actually very professional. No other agent. So this is gonna set you apart. This will set you apart.
yeah. So and I think what this does a lot is this is going to drop their guard. They're like, okay, so they're not, the sleazy car salesman is not coming here to sell me. He already asked me a lot of questions. He knows a lot about me. He sounded like a good guy. So when you go out there, you're not that person. And so what we're doing is we're differentiating ourselves and we're showing our value add right from the very beginning. And the reason that we want to do this is because in case they're interviewing 20 other agents, you're the one that sticks out. So differentiation and your value proposition are going to be two of the most important things, especially if you're calling expireds for sell by owners, or somebody that's not your sphere, or somebody that's not like a past client, or someone that you're not familiar with. And I mean, I think grabbing these people, especially in this market, I mean, David brought it up. In this market, you want to be the listing agent. You want to be the one that's in control of all that, because like nobody and everybody's read something on Facebook or on social media about the NAR situation that I'm not going to talk about, but nobody really knows what's going to happen. That's the point blank end period of the story, is nobody really knows what's going to happen because there's still other steps going on. But in any market, if you own the listing, you're the one in the driver's seat. So no matter how you get it, we want to keep being a listing agent, right? So I'm not saying that we don't run buyer ads. We do. Like we get buyers. We work with a lot of buyers too. But we can match them up. We can do all kinds of different things. But at the end of the day, our sellers are what sticks, and the sellers are what makes us the most amount of money.
Dollar per hour is higher.
Absolutely. So, and I wish I had that $9 now that you brought that up. So I actually have a $9 that I broke down into your highest dollar per hour activity, and at the top it's skill set versus dollar per hour. The highest skill set and the highest dollar per hour is always going to be the listing agent, just because you're not driving your sellers around. You're not you're not spending your gas. You're not spending your time. You list the property, you market the property, and the things that you do from then on, it takes minimal time as opposed to maximum time of driving someone around trying to show them 20 houses. Like I don't do that. Like I'm not going to show you 20 houses. Like, I mean, I hate to be that agent if y'all think that. I'm just not going to do that, because I know I break down every metric. I love numbers, so I know what my dollar per hour is worth. If I'm in my car driving, that's not the best use of my time. So let's get this going.
You guys all got a copy? Take it real quick.
All right.
So now you got to go. Now you got to go on to the actual appointment. If you think you ace this, now you got to go sell yourself.
So
Chad's gonna take it away and teach you how to crush it.
all right. So I'm just going to hold on to this guy. So this this listing presentation that we're about to go through, it's worked through over 100,000 different. 100,000 different agents have used this and successfully listed before. Like I said, this is it's a part of NAEA, and over the years, from being a coach with them, I've taken some of the things I've learned. I've coached with other coaches as well, and I've taken a lot of that, and I've been able to piece together something that I find to be just okay. It's gonna. You can't say no at the end of this. Like I don't think I've been told no. So, as a matter of fact, I went on a listing presentation last week. As of Friday, they had 4 properties they wanted to sell. And they were like, well, let's start with one and see what they did. I didn't leave with one. I left with all 4. As a matter of fact, after that, they called their sister. I gained another 2. On Friday, I got 6 listings. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm telling you what's possible when you have all the right tools. We all have the same tools, like David said. It's how we use them and how we articulate the value that we have, and why we're the best agent. Why you don't need to talk to the other 20 or 10 or however many were left. You don't need to talk to them. It's not even important. It's not relevant. You've got everything you need right here, and I just explained it to you. So now I'm going to show you how to explain it to them. So I come in, and I'm looking like, look, I'm about to overflow you with information. Like, here you go, here you go. Oh, I got this. This has got the picture of their house on it. Take that too. You're going to walk with that. Here's your house again. That's my logo. Take a look at that. And I'm dropping things. So one of the things, and I'm going to add this real fast before I forget, but this is a new tool that I just picked up. I haven't even shared this with you yet, but I'm happy to do so now. I started asking, I'm like, hey, also, when I show up, can you do me a favor? Can you leave a key on the counter for me so that when I get there, I know that I can just grab it and put it in the lockbox. If I walk in automatically and I see a key on the counter, Guess what I know right off the bat? Anybody know what I know? I got that list. Just don't fluff it up. I'll keep it kind of PG-13. Just don't fluff up all this. So when I walk in, let's sit down at the dining room table. But like, oh, the couch is more comfortable. I don't care. I like uncomfortable shit. So let's go sit at the dining room table if you don't mind. So
They'll always try to put you on a couch.
they really,
love the couch.
for some reason, they want to be as comfortable as possible. They'll kick back. And I've had people, and when I first started doing this, I actually had somebody, the first time I listened to someone say, let's go sit in the living room, they kicked back in the recliner, turned on the TV, and I'm just like, I was like, no, sir. I was like, let's go. And I got them to all get up and like, hey, I don't want any distractions. I drove out here. I need your full attention. Like, this is a very important process to you. So I want to, it's going to be to me.
You think they were just doing that to test you, to see what you do?
Maybe, but they failed miserably if they did. So I'm like, you ain't watching TV like while I'm talking. So I walk in. The very first thing that I want to start talking about is, have you ever heard you don't want to bash another agent? You don't want to bash your competition, right? That makes you look like kind of weak to me. I mean, if someone came in there like, oh, I know Chad, he does these things. He was a coach, so what? When was the last time he sold a deal? Well, look it up. But or whatever. It's going to look bad. It's going to make them look weak, especially if I call back and talk to them. So don't come from that place either. But here's how you bash almost everybody without actually bashing them. You just tell them everyone's statistics. So these are actual statistics. These have actually risen since this year. So, and this is actually 2003. So, or 23. I'm sorry, not 2003, but 23. And if it were 24, the numbers would be different. So I will give you the different numbers too. So when I walk in there, I'm going to tell you how you can sell your house for up to 18% or more than the traditional real estate agent. And there's 3 words that I don't incorporate in my own listing presentation. If y'all want to write these down, that would be great. I don't use the word realtor. I don't use the word real estate or real estate agent. And I don't use CMA. Because guess what all my competition is doing? They're going to use those 3 words at some time in their presentation. I know that to be a fact. I don't do it. So I'm your real estate expert. I am a local expert. I am the land expert. I am the what is your property? Great. I am the expert at that. And I'm going to get you 18% more than the traditional real estate agent will. Now, in this market, currently, 54% of homes fail to sell. And if I'm talking to an expired, you've already experienced that. How did that feel? How did that feel is a great question. And the reason for that, how did that feel? They've already gone through it. They know how it feels. They can answer it. They're qualified to answer that question. So, yeah, it sucked. I didn't like it, and that's why we're interviewing other agents right now. Great. So, we know that you're already in this category, but had it sold with your previous agent, did you know that it would be that home that they're selling? Over 60% of homes currently are selling, and I would go to say even 65 or more than that in this current market, are selling below asking price. So in this market, 65% of homes are selling below asking price. You want the most for your home? Or are you good with just whatever I sell it for? And you see what I said there? Whatever I sell it for. Like, I'm already letting them know kind of what's going on. And and the reason for that, the reason that most of these homes are not selling, the reason they're selling for less, it's very easy. Your typical agent is doing about 4 transactions a year. As opposed to, and when I open this up in a second, you'll see, but as opposed to what me and my team are doing. So, and the reason for that is because they're only spending in Texas. Thankfully, this number is not true. We do 180 hours, but they're doing their 180 hours and they have no designations. They have nothing else beside that. They have no more experience to go on other than what they were taught in real estate school, which doesn't teach you anything but laws. So if you know the laws, that's great, but how does that help you sell a home? I want an answer. Daryl, how does that help you sell a home? It does not. Thank you. So, aside from that, let me put that into perspective for you. So, my barber, I love my barber to death. I mean, she keeps me all, clean on the sides, like my fade looks good. I hope. I saw it. It does. But my beard, stuff like that. She does a great job. I love my barber. She went to school 1,500 hours to be able to do that. And guess what? If she's, giving me a little straight razor shave right here and she nicks me a little bit, she has like this little clay stuff. She sticks it on the side of my face right here, stop the bleeding. By the time she's done cleaning me up and everything, guess what? Bleeding stopped, it's gone, it's healed, fine. No big deal, right? So if you pick a realtor who does not know what they're doing and they make a mistake, what if it costs you $25,000, $50,000, $75,000? How do you fix that? Because it sure as hell ain't going to be with a little piece of clay. So imagine if your home did sell. So to me, you kind of dodge a bullet by not selling with the last agent. Do you think so? Okay. So, and here's another reason why. The average agent spends about $400 a month in their business. So whether they have a monthly fee with their broker, whether they have whatever it may be, they're only spending $400. How much money do you think it takes to get professional photography? How much money do you think that it takes to market your home correctly to get it to sell for the 18% or more? How much money do you think it's going to take from the second that we sign our agreement in just a second? As soon as that pen hits the paper and you sign your name, I've already spent more than that. The very second that you sign, I've already spent more than that just on photography, on marketing, on everything else that we're going to go over. Isn't that crazy? And let me ask everybody in the room this. Did y'all know all this stuff already? Raise your hand if you knew all this stuff. Didn't know it? Okay, raise your hand if you're going to implement the stuff now that you know it. Okay, so wouldn't you think this would be a huge value add for all of your clients to know as well, like what they're getting themselves into by selling? So the value prop is going to start off right here, and there's a whole backside, and there's 184 points that we're going to go over now. No, I'm just kidding. We're really not. But and I don't go over the back in the listing presentation either, just because it just is going to get repetitive. But I'll hit the top 7. It's so what we're going to do to sell the home that makes it for that much more money is there's a law of expertise, a law of differentiation, a law of exposure, a law of cooperation, a law of buyer acquisition, law of negotiation, and a law of execution. And I may hit on some of these things like that, but inevitably what I've done is I've wrapped them up in everything else to where I don't have to stand here with this sheet and go on, because it will get lengthy and they will zone out. So it's like, let's go through this, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. So I'm opening this up, and I'm going to do this with intention, and I'm going to do this where you can see, so if things fall out, I apologize. But I'm opening this up like this. What's the first thing you see? Me. So you see me in a magazine, right? Pretty cool. It's a little impressive. And on the back, it's got my name, so I'll save you more money. It's pretty congruent with the exact same thing that I just said, huh? Staging, these are the channels I've been on too. Pretty cool, huh? I'm kind of bragging on myself without bragging on myself. But I'm gonna say here, and all I do is I say here, this is for you. I don't read through. I don't show anything. But when I'm sitting there putting down a magazine, what do you think that they're thinking? Okay, so in comparison, and this is kind of old one, and this is a little out. So this is a little bit old one, but this is my resume. So how many of y'all bring resumes to your listing appointments? Camilla, I know you do. So, so what this does is it's another picture of me saying, hey, look, okay, I'm going to set this down. So it's saying the transactions we've done so far this year. So far, year to date, I've sold 6 transactions. That's what we're still in the first quarter. Starting to slow down a little bit. 6 transactions. It is what it is.
You're already ahead of the average agent.
Yeah, true. But my goal was 10. So, and then it's how many homes have you ever sold? After that, Do you remember when I was talking about what the average agent sells? It means I've already sold, if we go back and look at this, and this is just still sitting on the table, if we go back and look at 6 transactions, I've sold more in the first quarter than your average agent is gonna sell in a year. And historically, January, February, and March are some of the slowest months of the year. Would everybody agree with that? Okay, so it means already we've got them beat, and I haven't said anything negative about any agent, have I? I'm not saying like, oh, well, hey, you know, this that David Bennett guy that you're talking to on Monday at noon, he sucks. Don't deal with him. Like, I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying when he comes in there, I'm about to run laps around him, like already, like just with his own presentation. So remember how we were talking about. What was it, 52% of the homes fail to sell? Right here, what this is showing is if you list with me, there's a 99.7% chance your house will sell as long as we follow my marketing presentation, my marketing plan. 99.7. So and I'm going to tell you what this means right now. It means if I fail to sell your home on the next listing presentation I go to, I can't say that there's a 99.7% chance. So if we agree that we're a good fit to work with each other, you don't want to sell your $500,000 home for $1 million, then, you know, otherwise I'm going to have to pass. But as long as everything makes sense, we decide to work together, your house is going to sell. It's that easy. You won't be in that percentile. I'm going to keep you out of that. So, and then it's average days on market and highest listing never sold. So, and that's essentially like where we start from here. I go over my complete marketing plan that I've got with them. And what this is saying is, okay, so first of all, this is how we're going to market. And I have my social media set up to where all I need to do is insert a picture. So once I get a picture, and let me see what I've got here. Let's use this one. Okay, I'm just going to pull the whole thing, actually.
I think by doing all this up front, you already created such a level of authority so that they're going to listen to exactly what you say next. You know, even if you're going to tell them bad news, like, hey, I can't sell your home for $375, they're probably going to look at you as the expert already.
Right, Chris.
With that being said, with the new rules that came out last week, the NAR, whatever, by doing everything you're doing and going on and following up and getting this agreement signed up front, this plays into the new rules anyways, the way you are doing it, right?
Right. So I mean, whatever law changes is like, and as soon as we get to the next page, I'm going to show you exactly like what we go over. So it's going with commissions and stuff. This is a very, very, very easy walk around. Since we don't know the new laws, take any NAR.
They're going to be ratified up until July, so we don't even know what's.
Yeah. So right now, stick with what you got. You know, I mean, once they change, let's find out. Yeah, business as usual until it changes. So if they ask about it, I got some pretty good rebuttals on that too. So, so one of my listings, you can see right there. See, and I want everybody to look at the picture first. Everybody see the picture? It's a professional picture. So as opposed to the last picture, I print that out and I'm like, so this is the picture you have. And after the pictures come out, hey, look, this is a new picture. And this was in, I don't know, this was in the wintertime. The grass was definitely not green. And it was definitely not at twilight. So all of this stuff is edited and the house is vacant. So guess what? We had it virtually staged. And with my photographer, you can't tell the difference. But do you know how much of a difference that makes? It makes a huge difference. So that's one of the things. And then I start walking through. So it looks like, you know, the average comp in your area is going to be, you know, blah, 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 blah. And really, we only go through the first few pages. And does anybody know what this is? Nope. Oh, but I don't. What's one of the words I don't use in my listing presentation? CMA. It will never be a CMA. RPR. So this is an RPR that I had printed out. Look how thick this thing is, guys. All right, that's pages on pages on pages. I'm not going through this whole thing. So, but I want there to be so much information that they're just like, wow, I've got to know all this. So, and on that, I'm like, I want you to read through that, know exactly what we're going to do. That way that you understand everything. It's kind of like I'm giving you homework now. I want you to do all this. So I've gone through the first 8 pages of this with you. Here you go. I want you to read through the rest of that and let me know once you're done, okay? And then also,
RPR is a tool in MLS that you guys can pull up.
yeah, everyone has access to that too. Just look up, go to RPR, enter the prop. You could play with it. I would suggest messing with that. In so many different ways that it will awe your sellers. And that's, I think that's going to be one of the most important things. So, 7 new laws that homeowners must know to get 18% more. That's what that's congruent with. Again, it's from what I originally started talking about. So I put this out there and I'm like, we're not going to go through all that. We touched on that. Here you go. I want you to read all this too, okay? Do you guys see what I keep doing? I keep putting things in front of them. I keep telling them, I want you to do this. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. I want you to do this over and over again. And so what do you think they're thinking? Oh, crap. Yep, most likely. Like, damn, he wants me to do all this? Like, why do I got to do all this? So what do you think is the last page on this in this folder? Did y'all peek? Did y'all look? Y'all up front. Y'all get an advantage. So it's kind of like I'm talking to you guys, but like, y'all didn't peek? It's the listing agreement. So now I've gone through all that. Do you have any questions? I know you haven't read all that yet, but let me tell you, I'm going to tell you something else too. All this, I already know. I already know the plan. I already know what we're going to do. We can just implement. I'm going to leave that with you. You can look at that at your leisure. But for right now, from what you just said on our discovery call, which I'm not going to call it that, but on our discovery call, from what you said, I know that you have to sell the home quickly. Let me get my photographers out here, and we'll get the professional photography. We can get the ads running because ultimately, you need your house sold. You need to get to Tulsa, and waiting is not going to get you there. So, Adrian, are you ready to go ahead and get your home, and are you ready to get to Tulsa? Great. Let's go ahead. The highlighted parts, go ahead and sign. I get wet signatures. I don't send a dollar DocuSign because I want the signatures right now. When I leave with them. You have to think about it? Okay, great. So,
Let's say Adrian gave you objections, then what?
okay, let's
Give
go.
him objection.
You know what, Chad, I don't think right now is the right time. Give me a couple days to think about it.
Sure, absolutely. So tell me what's going to be a little bit different from right now in a couple of days. What is it that you're going to think about?
I don't like the commission.
You don't like the commission?
No,
What's wrong with the 7%?
it's too high for me.
Too high for you. Okay, I'll tell you what we can do. So as you saw, the professional photography and the marketing, the Facebook marketing, stuff like that, we can drop either the pictures, the virtual staging, or the marketing. Which one of those do you want to drop?
Mic drop.
Boom! Now what?
That was a really good one.
What if he says like the other agency is doing it for 6?
Okay, cool. So if the other agent is going to do it for 6, and it can still, and they're going to put all this time, energy, and effort into it, that's great. But you wanted top dollar for your property, right? You didn't want just like what the average price might be going for, and let's reduce, because that's what happened last time, right? What were you paying them? 5%? How'd that turn out?
So good.
Not so good? Okay, so the reason that my fee is what it is, and this may be the only time I might say something, is because of the past days on market that your last agent put on there. I'm an expert in coming back and fixing it. This is how I've built my business for over 20 years. I have to come in. This isn't just listing your house. This is restoring the problem that's already there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's not just me coming in and listing your house. It's me repairing the damage that's already been done. And any other agent that comes in here, they're going to try to list it pretty much the exact same way the last agent did. I can't do that because the damage has already been done with days on market. Does that make sense? That means I'm going to spend more money. I'm not going to ask you for it though. Up front, I'm going to spend more money up front. So I'm going to, all the risk is on me. If your house didn't sell, what did you pay? You didn't pay anything, did you? But I'm still out almost $1,500 to $2,000. So, oh, I'm sorry. Which one did you decide on? The no pictures, no staging.
We'll go for 7.
Go for seven's okay with you? Okay, sure, cool. So,
I heard in July I won't have to pay buyer's commission.
oh, there you go. Now you're going NAR again. So,
You just had to be that.
you had to be that person. So,
But that was great.
Well-
I want to hear what you have to say to that.
all right, good. So, I'm going to tell you a secret that that most people don't know. And now you're going to be the seller now too, because you asked the question. So I'm going to tell you a secret that most people don't know. You've never had to pay the seller's agent. You never, or the buyer's agent. You've never had to pay the buyer's agent. So we're not going to start now. You're going to pay me 7%, and I am going to pay them a percentage out of my own commission. So I'm going to make sure you don't pay the seller agent anything, okay? But what I am going to do is, if it's okay with you, I'm going to pay them myself. Is that okay?
Sure.
Great, thank you. And then stop talking.
Well, and I also heard that the rate is going to drop like 6 times this year, so that means there will be more buyers. So why should I list right now?
Where'd you hear that at?
My friend works for stock market, and they told me that the Feds are announcing that they're gonna drop within like 6 drops within next 6 months.
Did you see on the news that one time where the aliens were coming? Like the UFOs and stuff like that? Did you see that though, for real? Like,
So true.
did you see that?
Yeah,
Okay. How many aliens have you actually seen?
0.
You didn't see any?
No.
It wasn't true? Come on. The news wouldn't lie, would it? No way. Okay, so, and then after that, I'm done talking. Like I stopped talking again. The key thing I think I'm best at is I'm going to talk. Like I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and then I'm stop.
Radio action, right? Like just.
Yep. See, I didn't try to overcome that objection. I sidestepped it. Like if you try to run through it and be like, "That's a great question." So, well, your friend's probably not wrong, but that's when you just got killed by a question. So questions kill. Objections are not objections. Objections are questions. Answer the question and stop talking. Does that make sense? So, and I haven't been clicking this thing either, so I apologize, guys. But your brand. So, also make sure that you have your brand on everything. When I say your brand, I would suggest your own personal brand. So, if you work with a brokerage, which you do, but I have my own personal brand. It's just a little C and an M, and it's got Chad Montgomery written underneath it. I put my name on everything because I want everybody to remember me with and not narcissistic or anything like that, but I want everybody to remember me, which is why I have the magazine, which is why I became an author, which is why my face, my name, everything is on the book cover of the book that I wrote. It's because when I bring that to the book that I wrote, it's actually about selling houses. It's actually about, if you're a seller, this is the order that everything happens in and how and why. If you're a buyer, this is what happens. So if you're moving out of state, like when you get to Tulsa, I want you to know when you're buying that house, this is what it should happen. So I'm adding more value. So here's a magazine, here's a book, here's your house that's going to go out to all your potential buyers and everything like that too. So what's on that? Can everybody see this? Because I'm going to tell y'all anyway, but if y'all can see it, that's my picture. If y'all can see this over here, that's my personal brand. It's on everything that goes out because I don't care if you remember that I'm with EXP. I don't care about any of that stuff. I care that you remember what I look like and that you remember my name. Make sense? So, Chris, what do we look like on time, bro?
You're done whenever you want to be done.
Okay, well then let's keep going. So,
You got 6 minutes.
oh, okay. Walk through the selling process. We did that. Okay. Yep. Pre-listing steps. He did that. All right. So let's do this. Let's open it up to a Q&A.
Yeah.
Like
Objections.
objections, anything you guys are hearing out in the field. This would be good. And here's why: because you guys might be hearing something that I'm not hearing. or you guys may be seeing stuff that I'm not seeing. My office is in McKinney. I live in Prosper, and I try to stay that way. So, and this goes back to you need to conquer your neighborhood. You need to become that celebrity agent. So, what are you guys seeing, or what questions do you have over everything that we talked about?
Do you have a chapter in your book, or do you have tips for new agents? Because we don't have the background in the 20 years. So
Yeah.
do
So
you sell your brokerage and their numbers?
yeah. So that great question. So what I'm putting is I'm putting my team. You can put your brokerage. We did X amount of transactions this year. This is what we're doing. You don't have to stick to just your number, because this is the great thing. And I'm going to kind of derail for just 1 second, but a group of individuals seeking the same results, the same goals with the same strategy. Does anybody know what that is?
Team.
It's a definition of team. So your brokerage is your team. They're there to back you. They're not backing you, switch brokerages, but they're backing you. You're a team. You can put your team's number there, 100%. And I would encourage that. I wouldn't say I would encourage that way over trying to fluff your own numbers and saying I did this and then getting called out for it, because that's, I mean, number one, that's embarrassing as hell. But number two, like, they're not going. You killed your trust right there. So that's a huge step that you don't want to take. But that's a great question too. I've heard that question before, but I think that going with one of those options is always going to be the best. Like, I would say just don't ever lie, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to get caught. If you lie, you're going to get caught in the lie.
Well, if you're telling them you have integrity, you don't.
Right? Yeah.
You just stumble over your own lie, you know?
Yeah. So any other tips for new agents? I mean,
What specifically are you trying to get them to do? Like, what's the goal?
to hire you.
Tips for
Hire
new
me.
agents?
Do what?
Tips for new agents on when they go on listing appointments?
Well, just anything. Yeah, because as far as like your presentation, so it's all about, selling yourself. Why should
It's-
they hire you?
As
So-
opposed to thinking, and I didn't mean to cut you off,
No,
but
go
as
ahead.
opposed to thinking of it as selling yourself, think of it as a value prop or a USP, a unique selling proposition. It's something you provide that nobody else can provide. And once you can put that down and once you can master that, you're pretty much, you just won the game.
I've got one of these, and I don't think people ever see these on appointments.
Yeah.
Like, this is the USP, unique value proposition. This is how to sell your home for up to 18% more using proven marketing strategies.
All right. And these are also, they're available on like tablets and things like that, and I don't use them. I use that. And it looks very 80s-ish and stuff like that, because it's just, it's have y'all been to the, remember those old restaurants and stuff like that, when the waitress would come down and be like, if y'all seen this movie, let me know. I'm like, what don't you want? But like, it's just got, some things written down. That's a menu, right? It's like a menu. People they're familiar with what it is. And I can hold it like this. I can point to where I want to point to, and I know what it is. So I can keep looking you in the face and say, look, and hit things, going down the line. And once you've mastered this, it's kind of like, from the moment that you've stepped in the door, because you've already done your discovery call, I don't get asked about my numbers. I don't get asked questions like that. So I would just say, be confident out there. Know that the tools that you're using work, and that you can go in there and you can take. Because I know a lot of agents, and the appointment that David brought up. I went in there 12th and knew that they were going to interview however many. Most agents would have been like, okay, after can I be number 20? Or can I be, at the end? Or can you interview your 20 and then call me? Don't pick anybody else, but then call me and then I'll come in. And it was just like, no, okay, you want me to come in that time? I'm like, okay, I'll come in that time. And their reaction was, the couple was from New York. I'm going to tell a quick story too, but the couple was from New York. And it was and I'm Texan. If y'all can't tell, I've got the accent and everything like that, and I got the boots and all the good stuff too. So I walk in and I went through this exact listing presentation, and the husband said, this guy, and his wife said, honey, this guy, he's our agent. What do you think? She's like, Oh, I love him. I'm like, okay, great. And immediately, what do you think I did? Great, let's get started. Like, that's your permission to say, let's do business together at that moment. Knowing when to ask is better than knowing what to ask.
Out of 12 agents, what commission structure did you sign it at?
7.
7%. Didn't even have a discount.
They asked me for a discount, and I told them, great, I'll discount 1%, and I'll drop you to 7. Didn't question it.
So the class is officially over, but if y'all want to stay around and ask me questions, feel free to do so. I just want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Chris Cuellar. I'm an insurance broker. Office is in McKinney. Go all over Texas for your clients. So let me know if I can help you or your clients out with anything. Chad, David, thank you so much for this amazing
I
presentation.
appreciate you, brother.
And feel free to stick around. We still have some snacks in the other room, and they are full of wealth of knowledge and everything else. So,
Yeah.
and Chad, tell us about your new office where people can come do podcasts if they want.
Gotcha. So we just moved into a new office in Adriatica. In Adriatica, brand new, all top of the line podcast studio. I mean, filming podcasts, whatever you guys want to do. We do some classes up there on those different kind of things too. If you guys want to shoot a podcast, if you want to come in and join us for a call night, because like David was saying, we're broker agnostic. I mean, most of y'all probably see that I'm with EXP, and so is David. And you're like, oh, great. So who's going to try to recruit me now? We don't do that. Like we try to build your business. And if you decide like, hey, I like what you guys are doing and you want to work with us, then we can talk about that then. But we're not going to say, you should come over here, come over with me so you can do this. It's not, we don't do that. We invite everybody up there. We let them use our dialing systems, and we teach them, quite literally, and you've heard this before, but I would take the Pepsi challenge on this one and say, you can drop me out of an airplane anywhere, parachute me down to any market that I don't know, and I will take it over. And the reason I feel this confident about that is because I know what to do. The first thing that I would do is I would get Vulcan 7. I would start calling the expired and the for sale by owners, because that's something that most people don't want to do. And and all I would do is I know when to call, when to start calling, when to finish calling, when to move on to something else. And I would just stay, 2-3 months doing just that, running appointments. And before you know it, guess what? You have a pipeline now. And now your pipeline, you go to your follow-ups now, and you just start adding new things to your sequence. So I have an actual roadmap and SOPs and all these different kind of things. And I got a book that's coming out too. So if y'all are interested in all of this, I'll be sure to leave my information, and I'll be happy to send everyone in the room a free book and all that as well. So
With your autograph, right?
with
Yes.
autographed and everything. So any other questions? So
Questions, objections?
What objections do y'all hear? I want to hear that. When y'all go out on a listing appointment, what objections do y'all typically hear?
I think we've had them. Why you and something instead of,
Okay.
what makes you different?
Daryl, what about you, man?
Well, before I go, they've already got my marketing plan. They already know what I'm gonna do when I walk in.
Gotcha.
I'm usually talking to people who are pissed off with their agent. Like I have one denied at 8 o'clock. I had one guy, for a new agent today, I had a guy call me, and he said, well, you're in Allen, how are you gonna show my house in Irving? I said, let me explain to you what the MLS is for. We have 50,000 agents in DFW, they're all gonna see your property. And you don't want me showing buyers your house. Because if I don't assign that agent to somebody else, and I can't represent either one of you, you gotta sit down together, tell me what you want the contract to say, and then don't ask me any more questions. Said,
There we
"But
go.
if I bring the buyer, assign it to one of my agents, they represent the buyer, represent you. I said, you wanna be represented by me.
Absolutely. I love that one too. So I have something very similar to that. It's just prosecutor versus defense. So, but yeah.
I shoot from
Yep. There we go. I love it, man.
person.
What
So
happens if they say, hey, I want to hire the local agent? What do you say?
if they want to hire the local agent,
Yeah.
well, the name of my team is actually.
Okay, you're talking to me,
Yeah. I'm like,
why?
I grew up in
Why aren't
DFW.
you talking to the local agent already? that's so important.
I wanna see what other people say.
Yeah.
I say it's not often like, the buyer who's gonna buy your home is coming from the same town,
Yeah.
you know? And I just think it's,
I like that. That's good.
All over.
more than likely it's gonna be out of state.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most likely. be-
Or with our marketing plan, it will.
Washington State, yeah.
With our
Yeah,
marketing
I was
plan,
about
it
to-
will.
That's who I get.
And that's a great point, by the way, too.
Yeah.
So what I started throwing in there as well is in the marketing plan that I have. I think this is something great for all y'all to know as well. There's a 36% chance that your buyer is going to come from out of state. So let me ask you a question: How did your realtor market California, New York, and Chicago? Why those three? Because that's where the majority of the people are coming from. So if you're not known there as the seller agent to go to in DFW, they're Googling somebody, they're not finding you. Are you on Google? Or was your last agent on Google? Let me Google your property. I don't see it. It will be. So your house is going to be not just in the DFW area. Your house is going to be nationwide to where people, when they look it up, they can find it. Visibility is key. If I Google your name and I can't find you, I don't know you. That's the big thing, is make sure that you have a marketing plan that works. And this, especially like if you're looking to get into any kind of like luxury land, something of higher price points, you have to be able to articulate a great marketing plan.
I went on a listing appointment about 2 weeks ago. She wanted 730,000. So when I went to it, I went through the whole thing, and then at the very end, or towards the end, she was like, "Do you really think what you're doing is worth over $40,000?"
Oh, she just flat out asked you, are you worth your commission?
No,
So
well, yeah. So essentially, what I said was, "Do you really think it's worth?" Because I was charging her 6, but she was like, "Do you really think it's worth 6%? Do you really think what you're doing is worth over 40, or is technically she said 20 to 30, but then that's when I said, well, it's actually 40. It's 6%.
yes.
So when she said that, she was like, "But you're just a mediator. You're not doing anything."
How did she say it though? How did she say
And
it?
so she was like, because she interviewed.
Was she not impressed?
Well, by the time I got there was already another real estate agent there. So I introduced myself, shook hands with her, like I was professional. But I went through the whole spiel, and then at the very end, I was like, "Are you the decision maker?" And then she said, "My husband's not here." So I said, "Do you want me to come back? Because I'm not about to go through this whole thing, especially if he's not there." So, long story short, she called him on freeway, and I said, "Fuck it, like I'm gonna go through it." So I went through the whole thing, but then they were talking because they were like, "How much are you gonna pay for photography? $200. You're gonna put it on the MLS. Okay, cool. That's gonna take you 2 hours. But do you really think what you're doing is worth over $40-something thousand?" So with that, that's when I was like, because it was a 6%, but then that's when I was sort of like serving. Like when you go and spend food, if you spend $10, you're gonna tip $2. If you spend 20, you're gonna spend 4. If you spend 100, now you're spending 20. Who came up with those numbers? You know what I mean? Like I was just, but that's what I said. I didn't get it, but that's the objection I had. It's like,
Gotcha. So the question is essentially like broken down, and David, I want you to answer this one too. I'm going to give my answer, then come back with you, because me and David were both going to say something different. So that's why I was like, okay, let's both take this. It was a great question. I appreciate the feedback on that one too. So at that point, I'm gonna say something just pretty short, pretty sweet. Great. To get the job done, when you call a plumber, you're not paying him to bang the pipes. You're paying him to know where to bang the pipes. So yes, in order to get this home sold for what you wanted at, I know I'm worth that, probably a little bit more, but I've already cut you that 1% discount that we talked about. But so let me ask you a question. Why do you think that it sounds like you think that's too much. Why do you think that?
because I feel like what you're doing is not worth
What am I doing?
listing the property. Listing the property should only take you about 2 hours.
I don't list properties. I sell properties, but go ahead.
Well, that's the objection you gave me. I like that.
So I mean, it's having the confidence to know, like when you walk in the room, like because all you're doing is you're asking me questions and I'm answering the questions. Does that make sense?
Well, one of the things I struggle with is like, I'll say it directly, I'll say what I have to say, but like, I kind of,
You start getting upset, and then you're just like,
But it's like, I started sounding like a smart ass.
yes.
And so
I was about to say like,
no, but then I was talking to David. I'm like, one of my good friends, he's becoming a real estate agent, and I've known him since second grade. But I was telling him the whole situation, and he's only taken 6 courses, but I have 6 years in the industry. So I started telling him the whole thing, and then he was like, I can see why you lose a lot of business. It's because of your attitude. But then I said, but you can also see how I gain a lot of business as well. So it's like, if you're gonna point out that, let's point out this, because clearly what I'm doing is working. But I mean, I do start sounding like a smart ass, and then because again,
No, I mean-
you're overcoming the objection ultimately, but you are like, or not overcoming, you're answering the question.
right.
But ultimately, I can see where they're coming from, like, oh, damn, like this guy's a smart ass, or
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to sound that way too sometimes. With my answer, I'm asking you rhetorical questions. Like, I know you know the answer to the questions that I'm asking you, but it's just, I want to hear what you're either going to say nothing because you don't want to incriminate yourself, right? You don't want to say I'm right, but at the same time, you can't say anything else. So you either say that I'm right and you're wrong, or you say nothing, which lets me know that I'm right because I already knew that before I answered your question.
It's
So-
really just showing your confidence.
Yes. So it's just, and I was like, if you don't think I'm worth it, then that's fine. I was like, I would go with one of these discount brokers. Like, Redfin only charges 1%? Call Redfin. Are you familiar with Redfin? Cool. Do you want their number? Because I mean, like, if they're willing to do it for 1%, I'm not going to touch it. Like, but what I will do is I will promise you to do it for the exact same amount at 7%. When they don't list your home, and you're one of these 65% of homes that your offers are too low, or it doesn't sell at all. So when you call me, how long? We were going to do 8 month, an 8-month term. In 8 months, if they do this, they're going to do a 6 month probably. But in 6 months, if your home, when it doesn't sell with Redfin because they're only charging 1%, how much work do you think they're actually going to put into it? Because it's a lot more than just putting it on put it on MLS and having some pictures taken. So when they do just that and it doesn't sell, would you call me back? Okay. So do you want Redfin's number now? Okay. So I mean, you're not going to tell me no after that. Like, I mean, but David, how would you respond to that question?
Well, like in the absence of value, price is always an issue, right? So she's not seeing the value, right? What I would say something similar. Like I like to answer her objection with an analogy. Like I say, hey, Marco, listen, I appreciate that. Like, let me ask you something. Like, when you go on a plane, do you ever think who the pilot is or who's flying the plane? Do you? Probably not, right? Let's just say you don't. Most don't. I say, listen, most people don't, and I'm guilty of this. I go on an airplane, and I'm hoping that we get to the destination safely, right? But here's the thing, Marco. When you hit some turbulence, it gets pretty scary. When you agree?
We still looking.
When you fly your plane, you want a pilot who's going to be very, very experienced with navigating this turbulence and get you to your destination.
So you don't see me.
Marco, did you know 1 degree off of the flight plan can actually make you miss your destination by thousands of miles?
I do.
Right, so basically what I'm trying to tell you, Marco, is that you want to hire an expert such as myself to make sure that we get you to the closing table safely and smoothly. Is that fair? Listen, I can talk to you till I'm blue in the face, Marco, about how great I am, but it's only once you put me to work is when I'm going to demonstrate that.
That's good. That's good.
One statistic that I remember, it was like NAR 2018 statistic shows when a realtors that were willing to cut their commission by 1 or 2% less, right? Meaning 2%, that on average they were missing between 3 and 5% on commissions overall netting less commission for the seller. So that's a great statistic and tip when, hey, you might be saving a nickel over here by going with a cheaper agent, but overall you're costing yourself a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars, by going with that said person versus you're going to pay 1-2% more with me, my team, but I'm also going to net you overall a higher commission. So statistics don't lie.
And I love that. And that goes back to I'm going to get you up to 18% or more for your home. So do you know what? And I know you've heard this one too, but the PPP method, it's what most agents do. Okay. Nope. But I like that one. That's pretty good too. That's going to come in afterwards. So they're going to place the house on MLS. put a sign in the yard, and then pray that it sells. Because that's their strategy. And after they do that and it doesn't sell, their next strategy is like, well, guess what? Nobody's interested in your home for this amount, so we got to drop the price. And on a regular basis, I would say every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, you're going to get hit up saying, hey, we should drop the price, we should drop the price, we should drop the price. You just told me your goal was to get the most amount of money for your home. Did your last agent ask you to drop the price? 100% chance they did, and 100% chance it was dropped. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave that. So, instead of doing this, how about if we look at how to get more money right off the bat using a marketing plan that works as opposed to PPP? Make sense? So what else? And now, if y'all want to get into NAR, I'll be happy to give my feedback on NAR because it's all over social media. It's all I ever see. I don't post about it.
I don't think anything's gonna change, honestly.
I don't think much is going to happen. So, I mean, I'm going to get at least my 7 to 6%, and I'm still going to pay the agents. And my whole thing is if they take it off MLS, that's cool too, because I'm going to put it in the private remarks, like, hey, I'm going to make sure you're paid. Don't worry about that. I'm not paying a seller's agent. And I think the way to explain that too is just by simply telling them, like, look, we don't. I mean, if you don't want me to pay some of my commission to the buyer's agent, I won't. I'll be happy to take all the money. But the problem with that is there won't be any money because this house over here is offering 3% to pay the commission of the buyer's agent, and it's the identical same house as this one in a neighborhood, same builder, same everything, right? Let's just say they're identically the same. Steering is against the law. They're not allowed to show one. But do you really think that they're going to push for your home over this one? Like, this is how they pay. This is how they feed their family. This is what they do. Do you think they're going to advocate for your house over this house? Or do you think they're going to say, hey, with everything being the same, I like this one because X, Y, and Z. Well, I like this one over here. Yeah, but the value's over here because X, Y, and Z. Well, this one had the cool ceiling fans. Yeah, ceiling fans are $20. I'll buy them for you. Like, what do you think is going to happen? So with that whole NAR thing, great. Is there a way to get around it? Absolutely. That's the simplest, shortest version. I don't post on social media about NAR because guess what? I don't know what's going to happen. Everybody posting doesn't know what's going to happen. I'm kind of with David. Nothing may happen. So as of right now, business as usual. And if anything ever does happen, I'm going to put it in the private remarks. It's pretty easy. I mean, there's a loophole for everything. And I think as professionals, that's our job. Not just to find loopholes, but to do what's right for the client and to take care of the integrity of the industry itself. So, guys, I appreciate you letting me and David ramble a little bit longer than normal. But, like I said, if there's any questions that you do have, now's a great time.
Did you bring your business card?
Don't have, you know what? I did, but they're my business cards from 2017 because I stopped using business cards. I'll show you why. But yeah, I'll show you something else really cool too. Y'all want to see this real quick? Huh? No, I did. Like, no, I'm just kidding. But no, I'll give you a business card. My phone's right there. But here, actually, I can do this. So I've got. We're gonna do both. Like, I keep an extra one in my backpack to where you can just QR code it. This is an old one. Everything, phone number is the same, stuff like email, all that info is the same, just older. But I've got a dot on the back of my phone, and it's the phone over the recorder. Otherwise, I would just show you. But you can just click it like that, and all my information just shoots over to your phone. So it makes for cool conversation, especially like when you're at conferences or something like that, meeting other agents, and just talking. Just like, oh, cool. Well, here, click, and then it's like, great to meet you. And I have all their information. It gives it, and it puts them all, all of them. I've got it to where it sorts into a separate file, to where I know I can follow up and be like, hey, it was great meeting you at such and such conference or summit or whatever it was, and yeah. So it's and there's a lot of these cool things and this Dot's kind of older, but Popple or Poppy or something like that. Popple, it's pretty good too. I got a friend that uses that, and I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. So, yep. So lots of cool stuff.